Welcome to Let's Talk Recovery Equity, a series of conversations around how we can reach and help more people find freedom from addiction. This series offers us a space to reflect on some of the complexities of substance use disorder and mental health, while also discussing new pathways to hope, recovery, and healing. My name is Andrew Williams, and I serve as the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the Hazelton Betty Ford Foundation, and I'm the host of our series. Today, I'm excited to welcome Albert Titman as our guest. Albert serves as a wellness counselor at the Shingle Springs Band of Miwok Indians, and also serves as Associate Director of Cultural Integration and Development at the Springer Behavioral Medicine for the Tellawell Indian Health MAT project. He also serves as Chairman of the Board of Directors for the Native Dads Network. He is also currently a trainer for the White Bison's Wellbriety Training Institute and has over 18 years of experience in implementing the Medicine Wheel and 12 Steps program in Native communities. So thank you, Albert, for joining us today.
Oh, Majuksisa, Kachihima, Akaniasis Albert Titman, Tuumale, Nisanan Miwok, Maidu, Medesi Band of the Pit River Nation. So thank you and welcome, all my relatives. My name is Albert Titman. My tribal heritage is Nisanan Miwok, Maidu, and Medesi Band of the Pit River Nation. We're Bear Clan people. And it's an honor to be here. I really want to thank Hazelton Betty Ford and you, Andrew, for inviting me to be a guest today.
No, well, it's an honor to have you as a guest on our show, and definitely appreciate your time and the generosity of spirit that you've offered us in agreeing to be interviewed today for our show, and appreciate your introduction. And if you don't mind, why don't we build on your introduction a little bit more and to give our audience a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Perhaps remind us again of your tribal identity, and importantly, share with us your pathway to the healing work that you do in Native communities. Kind of what inspires you, what fuels your passion and strength for this work?
Absolutely. Yeah, again, those are my tribal heritages. My father is an enrolled member of the Ion Band of Miwok and Nisenan people. My grandmother, on my grandmother's side, were Medesi Band of the Pit River Nation, which is a little farther north near Shasta, up that way. One of my grandfathers was also Nisenan and Maidu descent. And well, we say Bear Clan people. It's just one of the clans and many clans for our tribal nation. And what it really means is we believe in the medicine that the spirit of our Bear people, our relatives, carry. And so ceremonially, we acknowledge that bear when he wakes up in the springtime and when he goes to sleep in the winter. And there are teachings and lessons that we learn on how to walk in this world from those teachings. And so what it means is we follow those ceremonial ways. I am a husband, been with my wife 31 years this year. I'm a father of 5. All of our children are grown, and we have 15 grandbabies. And I'm someone in long-term abstinence from substance use with 21 years, celebrate 21 years this year, January 2nd. Is my sobriety date, and because January 1st was a party day, and so that was when I woke up and said it's time to start new. And I've kept that commitment. And what inspires me is exactly what I shared with you is my family, making learning over time how to make amends to them and to maintain those amends. And also to my tribal community. We have a rich history in this society of things that have happened that almost exterminated us as a people. But here we are, we're still here through our resiliency, our healing, our wellness, and we say our recovery. We get to share, we strive to teach the next 7 generations. And so those are some of the things that inspire me. I've been working in the field of healing, wellness, and recovery for the past, 20 years, I would say. I started off, on my own journey of healing and wellness, and that shift is in my life, from working outdoors to finding a path that was laid down in front of me with some relationships to elders who have been working in the field that guided me to work in the field of healing, wellness, and recovery. So I started off in transitional living for families, did an internship at a detox center here in Sacramento. I through my own journey, went back to school, earned a degree in addiction counseling and human services, and landed a position in the behavioral health department at the Sacramento Native American Health Center. I've been working there for 15 years, recently retired from there. Got to manage the behavioral health program there. Worked at Shingle Springs. I'm no longer there, so I have to update my bio, but I just stepped down from there to go full time with the Native Dads Network, and all the while in clinical practice. And about 7 years ago, was it 7 years ago? Almost five years ago, met with Dr. David Springer, who'd been working in Indian Health for many, many years, and in developing, implementing, directing, supervising Native programs through the Indian Health Service. And he's the one that founded the Telewell Indian Health MAT project and asked if I would come and help with the cultural integration. And we began that journey together. And of course, he's an addiction psychiatrist, and he started the telemedicine program for tribal communities. So we were reaching rural and tribal communities, and that just became another passion. And we were developing integrated approaches to healing, wellness, and recovery for opioid use disorder, and it just took off. Then the pandemic happened, and it exploded. It really just, the whole world went on telehealth, it seemed. Everyone went Zoom. Like, we're on Zoom right now, right? And so we were a little bit ahead of the game. And so that's been really a passion of mine to keep that going. So, I mean, I could talk all day, but that's just a nutshell.
No, appreciate the more extended introduction and giving us a chance to learn more about your pathway, to the healing work that you do. And before I say anything else, I just want to offer my congratulations on your celebration of what it sounds like your 21st year of being in recovery. So congratulations on that milestone, and really do appreciate the vulnerability of sharing that with me and our audience, that you've walked the walk, right? You've been through the healing journey that you're helping to guide others through now. And so appreciate that level of vulnerability and what you've highlighted along the way around the kind of what really fuels and sparks the work that you do. And I hear this deep radical ethic of care for your community and this deep love of culture. And I'm struck by one of the phrases you use, and you talked about the work that really kind of sparks you is this work around cultural integration. And as I've read more about you and the work that you do with White Bison and other contexts, it's clear you've been on the forefront, right, of this kind of cultural integration work and really kind of creating hybrid models that integrate culturally specific healing modalities in with the traditional 12-step model. I'm wondering if you could speak to a little bit more around this concept of culturally specific kind of care, and what is this kind of culture integration, what does it look like in the work that you've done?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you, Mr. Williams, for allowing me to share a little bit of our culture, our heart, our spirit with you. I share that I've been walking this journey for 21 years, and that means 21 years consistently, one day at a time, one moment at a time.
Mhm.
But I've been working on it for like 30 years.
Yes.
So I was introduced to recovery in the 90s, and and as the native man, I've always known I am native. I'm tribal. I'm Miwok. I'm Nisenan. So we were always told that growing up, on both sides of our families. And my mom's also Latina. So we were always knowing we were indigenous. But it wasn't until was introduced to the pathway of recovery that I found White Bison. And White Bison is an organization that develops curriculum-based interventions for tribal communities. specifically and originally around um, SUD recovery, like substance use disorder, alcoholism, and other drugs. And Don Corus is the founder of White Bison Incorporated. And the first curriculum that they developed was called Walking the Red Road, the Medicine Wheel, and the 12 Steps. And so I've been to AA and NA, and I learned the foundation of recovery, but it just seems for a lot of us, tribal people, I speak for everyone, but for a lot of us, when we got to the God part, it's like a God of our understanding, um, then then something changed, something shifted. And El Don explains it on his reservation is that a lot of tribal people would get to that place in AA and they would walk away. And what we realized, it was there is a rich history of what happened to tribal people in this country around forced religion and boarding school, forced relocation. And so a lot of our relatives, what we have to come to understand is there's this complex and compound layer of trauma and traumatic events that made it even more difficult for some of our relatives to stay in the rooms where it felt like we're in church. And so the medicine wheel in 12 steps or walking the red road is an indigenous way of living. So walking the red road teaches us the principles that we find in AA: honesty, hope, courage, faith, forgiveness, all of those, being of service. Those are red road principles. You learn that just culturally following the red road. Uh, and if you follow Sundance teachings, if you follow Sweat Lodge teachings, Roundhouse here in California, the Bear Clan ceremonial way, you're learning the similar principles. And so what Don realized is AA works if you work it, right? And what I learned is in AA, I worked the steps. But what AA and NA helped me do was find a path of my understanding, and that's Red Road. And the blessing is Don already had been there and done that. He's our elder now, right? He's, I think, 80 years old this year, 81. And he developed this curriculum that integrated the 12 steps of AA to the Red Road teachings and the medicine wheel. And it just makes so much sense. Yeah, and so that is what has grounded me on my journey of this past 21 years. Is I still, attend meetings here and there, but our path now that is Red Road, and it's a path of healing wellness, and everyone is invited. You are, Mr. Williams. You're invited to the Red Road. Everyone is. It's not just for Native people anymore. We open this path, especially as it relates to, recovery programs, healing circles, talking circles, wellness. We invite you to come and be a part of and let us share that with you.
No, and I certainly appreciate the invitation and your inclusive spirit. And I can, even from what you've shared so far, I understand how that invitation, right, is deeply grounded in this connection that we're all relatives and all connected. And so appreciate that, and appreciate the ways in which you highlight, right, the ways in which there was this fusion, right, led by Native leaders, right, to integrate some of the grounding principles of 12-step with the red path in terms of some of the foundational values and principles. My background and training is as a cultural anthropologist. And, I really believe in like a thick description of communities. And I've always wanted to, I got into anthropology because of my interest in indigenous knowledge and indigenous wisdom, in the sense that we had something to learn from indigenous people from all around the world. And you've kind of given us a window into the conceptual universe of the Red Road. But what does it look like? What does it sound like and feel like when you're in that path, when you're in, right, a treatment space that's really kind of adopted this kind of model of cultural integration? It's kind of what I hear you saying is partly it's grounded in the cultural traditions. And it looks at Native people as not from a deficit perspective, but having cultural resources and strengths, right, that can spark and fuel us toward recovery.
a little bit of what it looks like. So tonight we're hosting our family wellness circle, and um, our family wellness circle is grounded in Red Road principles, healing, wellness, walking this red path of life. And we burn medicine. And when we say medicine, are herbal remedies. So I'm burning what we call uh, uh, river sage, mugwort, kachina in our language, but that specifically means medicine. So we burn medicine, we clean our spirit, just spiritual cleansing. We ask the Creator to clean our thoughts today. Help me see goodness in the world. Help me speak goodness. Help me filter in the good things and help me filter out all that negativity that's trying to follow me around, come into my heart. So we set that intention. We get centered and grounded. It's one of the first things we do when we come together in space, walking this red road. And so tonight we will do that. I have what's called a takata right here. It's literally simply a rattle. I mean, so the rattle, we sing our songs. Our songs are prayer songs. So this is how we connect to a God of our understanding, our higher, our creator. So our program is a spiritual program. Some might say, oh, it's a religious. Well, it is because it's what we believe. It's what helps us stay centered and grounded every day. So in the Red Road way, everybody we teaching our young ones now. We're teaching the relatives that come for help for you learning to walk a life of abstinence. We say we're going to face the east direction every day. The sun rises. That's what it looks like. Face the morning sun. It signifies another chance, another opportunity, a rebirth in a sense, a chance to make right the wrong. So we're making amends, but to ourselves first. We got to start there. And so we offer these songs, we rattle them in, and that's what it sounds like. If you could smell my medicine, you would know that's what it smells like. So all of our olfactory senses are involved in our healing and wellness and overall recovery. And so that's kind of a brief intro. If you were to come tonight and be a part of our family circle, where we invite the mothers, the fathers, the grandmas, the grandpas, and all the babies, the children, the youth, to come. And while the men are learning what the men learn, the women are learning what the women are learning. The kids are taken and they're taught, but they're all being taught at their age and their stage. So when they get back in the car and they go home, they're talking about the same teachings. It's really powerful. It's kind of like celebrating families.
Yes, no, Albert, thank you so much for a very thick description, right, for what it means to be wrapped, right, in the care and the love of community, and what it means and, right, what the lived experience of coming together on the red road toward healing. And, what I also take away from what you shared to me, right, is a holistic approach. That it's grounded in culture, but also, right, understands that family and community are also part of the medicine, right? But what might be a message, a word of care or motivation that you can share with anyone listening in Native communities or even beyond who are struggling with addiction, who have loved ones, friends, family who are struggling? Any words for them?
Absolutely. The road of life, we call it walking this red road. Boy, we lay it on the foundation of culture, spirituality, and ceremonial practice for all human beings. For all human beings, we lay that foundation. Uh, it could be burdensome at times. It could be a blessing at times. And so what we're learning is we're drawing all of that knowledge forward through the layers of trauma, intergenerational, generational, and we're calling on the spirit of those ancestors as well that survived, that brought resiliency, that kept our language alive, that kept these ceremonies alive for us to have. And so we're working on intergenerational healing, generational healing. We're sharing this message for the next 7 generations forward. We learn from the generations behind us. They experienced a lot of shame, guilt, trauma, but they pass forth these teachings so that we can begin the healing, so that our great grandchildren, maybe they live in wellness, they live in harmony, they live in balance. And so we learn from the polarity, up, down, high, low, brings balance, harmony back to our life. That's what walking this lit road is. That's what we say. And we do that. We do that every day. There's not a day we can afford to take off anymore on this journey of healing, wellness, and recovery, specifically from substance use disorder. But just in general, when we talk about whole person care, it's taking care of our whole self, mind, body, spirit, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And there is a way we do that every day. Every day. I'm going to take a day off. So I say, we le motaku, from my heart to your heart. Deke kamo. Thank you in gratitude.
No, thank you, Albert, for that response. And I think, giving our listeners and those who are viewing, right, this vision of hope, this hopeful vision, and this reminder, right, that there is support out there. There is help, and help that's specifically, right, kind of designed or envisioned, right, to help support folks on that red road, and that there are real, wraparound holistic services that can help people move toward greater healing. So I appreciate those caring words, those inspirational words, that reminder to people that help is available, help that is aligned, right, with one's own kind of worldview and cultural orientation as well. And your words with us today have truly been medicine for all of us. And I feel like the spirits of the ancestors are with us right now, and are letting us know that they're here and supporting us in the work that we do. So thank you, Albert. And to all of you listening or watching today, I want to express my appreciation for you taking the time to join us for this very important and meaningful, soul-growing conversation. And Albert, thank you again for sharing your wisdom, experiences, medicine, and tremendous insights. And please know that we recognize and appreciate the advocacy and life-changing healing work you do, as you say, every day. So thank you.
Visit the Native Dads Network website.
Yes, I'm certainly going to revisit it today, and I hope everyone who's listening will visit it as well, and the dads out there, will get connected to the network as well. And to everyone else out there, again, please let your friends and colleagues know about the Native Dad Network, about these conversations, and please come back often and catch more episodes of Let's Talk Recovery Equity. Together, we can advance recovery equity for all those in need, as we also work to change how the world thinks about addiction. Thank you again for joining us.